Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and happy Sunday, and welcome to this edition of Politics with Riley King. Is November 4, 2018. Let's begin. First up, with record turnout predicted, state officials gear up for robust monitoring on Tuesday, Election Day. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Black Klansman from Spike Lee and Jordan Peele, based on the outrageous true story you have to see to believe.
A black man undercover in the Ku Klux Klan. I say that's mission impossible.
The New York Times hails. It's a stunning tour de force. It's furious, funny, and brilliant. It's the movie of the year. Black Klansman, a Spike Lee joint. Watch now.
In September, Durham saw a state primary turnout twice as high as its 10-year average, an indicator of big things to come. Now, Secretary of State Bill Gardner is predicting 540,000 ballots will be cast in New Hampshire on Election Day, a midterm record. Gardner teamed up with Attorney General Gordon MacDonald Friday to detail the efforts they're making to ensure a secure and smooth voting process.
New Hampshire has a long history of conducting elections that are fair, well run, and with a very high degree of voter participation.
With heightened concerns over election interference nationwide, New Hampshire's paper ballots are unhackable, and officials say the voter registration lists are safe.
There is constantly individuals that are knocking at the door to see if they can get in. We're not aware of anything that has occurred that has allowed an outside entity to get into our election system.
Steps taken by state legislators to tighten up voter registration laws have prompted a lengthy court battle. Gardner says no one will be denied a ballot.
It's unfortunate that there's this belief out there that there's voter suppression because it is just unfair.
Bottom line, Secretary Gardner says if you're qualified to vote, you can go to your local polling place and vote.
You don't have to pay a poll tax to vote. There's been a lot of talk about that. There's been talk, you don't have to have a driver's license to vote. We are the easiest state in the country.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And don't forget to go out and vote on Tuesday, November 6th. Kelly says the economy isn't working for all. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Close Up with Adam Sexton from last week.
Good morning, I'm Adam Sexton. Just about a week to go until the 2018 midterm election, so let's jump right in. Our first guest is the Democratic candidate for governor, Bali Kelly. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So you said you want to do more for the people in need in New Hampshire, but what about those middle-class folks who are doing relatively well right now? They have jobs, they own homes, they pay taxes. We assume they have health insurance. Maybe they have access to paid family leave. Perhaps they like the school that their kids go to. In short, things are good. Why should they vote for change in the corner office?
Well, Adam, I want to build a New Hampshire that works for everyone, and not just a few. And I do not believe that the economy is working for everyone. You know, we have college students here in New Hampshire who are paying the highest tuition in the country. They have the highest debt in our country. It's not working for them. And as governor, I want to make college affordable and to make sure that our young people stay here. Businesses are crying out every day for an educated and a prepared workforce. And I want to work with them and connect them with education and our college students to make sure our students do stay, and that the businesses, whether it's in manufacturing, finance, or healthcare, receive and have the workers that they need, and that the people here in New Hampshire, all the people in New Hampshire, have an opportunity to succeed.
You mentioned the affordability.
Okay, and there you go on part of the video. If you want to watch the whole video, we will be sure to share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Sununu says everyone in Washington is to blame for political climate. Let's take a listen to part of the video from WMUR News 9, Close Up with Adam Sexton.
Welcome back to Close Up. He's asking voters to rehire him for another 2-year term. Governor Sununu joins us this morning as he hits the home stretch of the election. Thanks for being here, Governor.
Absolutely.
So the opioid crisis remains the #1 public policy problem facing this state. It's difficult to make promises with something as difficult as addiction. It's hard to beat for individuals or public health systems. But the latest stats show a 15% drop in overdoses year to year in Manchester, and I believe an 8% overdose drop year to year in Nashua. Can you say with confidence that the new model you're bringing forward for treatment will continue this downward trend and make real progress?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. The biggest barriers we have with the opioid crisis is rural access to care. So we do have great services in both Manchester, Nashua, and the Southern Tier. But when you look at the accessibility of treatment and recovery, job training programs, all these wraparound services in the more rural areas of Grafton or Coos, where overdose rates have been exceeding and spiking, they just don't have the access. This new hub and spoke model is unlike anything folks have seen in across the country, frankly, and it's really going to allow people in their own communities to have full access to care. We're going to keep on that downward trajectory. We have a long way to go. There's no doubt about it. But for the first time in years, the death rate is down, the overdose rate is down, and with the new model and the new funds that are coming in, there's no doubt we're going to continue having some great success in this great challenge of our state.
What's the target?
Okay, and there you go on some of that video. If you want to watch the full video, we will have a link for you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Close Up Castro says Democrats will meet high expectations for midterms. Let's take a listen to some of the video from WMUR News 9, Close Up with Adam Sexton.
Former HUD Secretary Julian Castro made his 3rd visit to New Hampshire this year. While the Democrat focused on the midterms, he hasn't been shy at all about his interest in potentially making a run for the White House in 2020. We sat down with him for a one-on-one interview in Nashua. Secretary Castro, thanks for joining us. We're here just a little over a week from Election Day. Democrats really feel like they have the momentum. You're here to help, but take us through, what happens if these high expectations are not met for the Democrats in the midterm?
I think they are going to be met. I see a lot of enthusiasm out there, including here in New Hampshire. What I see are folks who want accountability, whether it's at the State House or in Washington, D.C. So I believe that what we've seen over the last year is folks from every different corner of our country, including here in New Hampshire, get activated that weren't activated before. And so I think that we're going to do well on election night, and I'm confident that we're going to take back Congress and that y'all are going to have some good victories here in New Hampshire.
You yourself have said...
Okay, and there you go on some of that video, and if you want to watch the full video, we will have a link for you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Also, candidates all weekend been going door to door going to campaign events to make their final push before the big election day on November 6th, on Tuesday. Here is a photo of Eddie Edwards going door to door campaign. Take a look right here. Making final pushes before Election Day on Tuesday. And today on the record on WCVB, Jeffrey Dale makes his final appeal to voters. Also, we know that political analysts with Massachusetts election make their predictions. And Elizabeth Warren declines live OTR offer. Candidates crisscross Massachusetts to make final push for voters. Let's take a listen to this video from WCVB Boston.
The Hyundai
Okay, it looks like we're having a little technical difficulty.
The Hyundai Tucson is the highest ranked small SUV in both initial and long-term quality. The longer you look, the more there is to like.
Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $159 a month or get up to $3,000 in total savings. Hurry, offers end soon.
Mr. Deal says he wants to be with Donald Trump 100% of the time.
It took Senator Elizabeth Warren less than a minute to make the link between Representative Jeff Deal and President Donald Trump. While Deal immediately turned to his familiar line of attack, Warren's eye on a 2020 run.
The fact is, she doesn't care about your house. She cares about the White House.
Will you serve your full term if you are elected next Tuesday?
So I've already said that I will take a look at running for president after the election, but I guarantee this, no matter what I do, I will work for the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Deal tried to distance himself from Trump, but made it clear he backs the president's policies, including Trump's latest effort to bar babies born in the U.S. to non-citizens from becoming citizens.
We do need to follow the Constitution, which does not call for providing citizenship to those who are not here as national citizens.
I don't agree with the president. He doesn't get to erase parts of the Constitution that he doesn't like.
After defending Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Deal took aim at Warren with a new complaint accusing her of illegally fundraising during the Kavanaugh hearings.
That's something that you should not be doing, first of all, when we are having a national discussion about the Supreme Court.
I will check into it, but I don't know.
And after the debate, Senator Warren says she's been told this was a frivolous complaint made by a shadowy dark money group. Now, there was one area where both candidates agreed. That's support for the locked out National Grid gas line workers, calling for them to immediately get back to work. Maria and Ed?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Candidates for a slew of statewide offices are going to be crisscrossing Massachusetts in a final push for voters before Election Day on Tuesday. Lawmakers hunting record under investigation after wardens notified of past felony conviction. Let's take a listen to this video from WMTW News 8 Tyler Cataract.
We
we know that exercise is the biggest predictor of how well you're going to live with or without cardiovascular.
In Maine, the application to get a firearm hunting permit includes a list of questions. One asks if you're a convicted felon.
So there's a lot of questions where honesty is really, you rely on a person's honesty in order to sort of, I guess, do a check and balance.
There are no routine background checks for hunting permits through the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Today I spoke with Representative Jeff Pierce, who spent 30 days in jail for that drug trafficking conviction, about the investigation into his hunting practices. He did not want to go on camera, but says this is being blown out of proportion. He plans to stay in the race to represent several Mid-Coast communities, including Richmond and Georgetown, and will let the voters decide what happens. Now, the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine does want people to know that in some cases, folks will purchase licenses as a way to give money to the department, but not actually use them.
And it helps to support the department. So that's another reason why people have hunting licenses, is to make sure that the department gets the resources they need.
The Maine Warden Service is investigating Pierce's hunting records. Corporal John McDonald says, in general, those who omit information on their applications for firearm hunting permits are on very thin ice and one tip away from a lot of trouble, including fines and possible charges. Other officials agree.
Once a person completes those, they sign on the bottom line, it's fraud. And you know, it can be a serious penalty for committing fraud on those documents.
Hunting records in Maine are public documents. We requested a copy of Pierce's records through the state. For WMTW News 8, I'm Tyler Cataret.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. It's Democrats plus 8 among likely voters. Trump and healthcare on center stage poll. Let's take a listen to some of this video from ABC News.
Nothing. Is this a test? No. Do you like getting stuff you like for free? Yes, this feels like a test. It's not.
Get 6 months free Apple Music on the network you deserve. Switch now and get $300 off our best phones.
The classic version of 538's House forecast currently gives Democrats a 6 in 7, or about an 85% chance of winning a majority, and it gives Republicans a 1 in 7 chance. And our forecast currently shows Democrats gaining an average of 39 seats. We recently identified some competitive underpolled House races whose results could be surprises in our forecast. One of those examples is Colorado's 3rd district, which makes up the western part of the state. It was branded by our classic model as more or less a toss-up, with GOP incumbent Scott Tippen's chances of winning hovering between 55 and 65%. But now it looks to be a likely Republican district. Thanks to the one poll we have, our forecast now gives Lipton a 5 in 6 chance of beating Democratic challenger Dianne Mitch Bush. It's worth keeping in mind that this is just one poll in one district. The actual results in underpolled districts, like Colorado's 3rd, could vary greatly from what our model predicted. We just don't have that much data. But how well Republicans or Democrats end up doing in these races could play a big part in how many seats they end up winning overall. Visit 538.com/House forecast to explore the model for yourself.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. President Trump's unpopularity and border gap in trust to handle health care are keeping Democrats in the hunt to take control of Congress, but with an advantage that's narrowed from its summertime peak. And that does it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Politics with Riley King. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Also join me tomorrow night for a special preview of election night coverage. And then join me on Tuesday night for full election night coverage as all the results come in to our newsroom. Have a wonderful Sunday, everyone, and have a great week. Goodbye, everyone.